Yeah, so my career journey is kind of strange because what happened is I got pregnant when I was 19. And I got pregnant at 19, had a baby I got pregnant at 18, I had a baby at 19. And that dictated a lot of things, right? Because once you're a mother, and I was living in Philly, I wasn't from Philly, so I didn't have any family there. It meant that I had to get really creative really quickly, to decide how I was gonna, one, stay in school, which I did full time, but also make enough money to take care of this new baby and myself. Uh, and I love that we're talking about ministry because I think sometimes, you get your back up against the wall, and that's how you learn about what it is that you're here to do.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that happened when I realized that I was pregnant was that I was like, I want to make it a better world. Like, I don't want to bring a baby into a world that's like this. Um, and I just wanted to do my part in that. And so that looked like, as a university student, we used to set up tables in front of the university and sell books so that we could run a club. It looked like me taking that club and then turning it into curriculum that I could then go teach in after school programs in schools, in between classes. It looked like me, like I would, I applied for scholarships so that I could, you know, stay in school and do the work that I was doing. It looked like, it looked like, going to all of these art openings because they have free food.
Mm.
So yeah, it looked like all these different creative ways of like making it happen. I think that, COVID wasn't so crazy for me because I've been living like the life of like pivot the whole time,
Mm.
right? Like,
Yeah.
and you are my cousin, so you know that even before that, we were raised by a mother who went blind when we were, little girls.
Yeah.
So, and she still made it happen, and she still had ministry. She still continued to get her degree in theology, right? And so this is the example. This is what I saw growing up,
Yeah.
is that there is no excuse, right? It's actually you continue. Your obedience will be your vehicle.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Yeah, and this I've heard your story about your resilience when you were pregnant and
Mhm.
maybe someone even telling you to drop out and the
Yeah,
negative voices, but you push forward.
yeah,
And now, just seeing how that resilience and that experience has kind of shaped what you're even doing now.
absolutely.
Education. I know, as we mentioned, right? So my mom and your mom are first cousins. And in
Hmm.
our family, education is big, right? You got to go to school, you got to learn, right? Like
Yeah,
our grandparents, like your
yeah,
grandmother, my grandmother, your grandfather,
yeah,
education was big with them. And
absolutely.
so I know education was a part of your own journey. And I believe anyone who's in education, that's a ministry because you don't get
Absolutely.
paid enough. You give more hours than you get, paid
Yeah,
for. And you
right.
don't do it because it's lucrative. You do it because you can see helping someone. So talk about your
And part of it,
journey.
I don't know. It's like you do it because you have to. I don't know if
Mm,
that makes sense. It's like, this is, even when I'm not trying to do the work that I do, I end up doing the work that I'm doing. And I know you're
that's
the same.
calling. That's calling.
It's just like
Yeah.
it's calling, it's purpose. It's like, even it's so many ways in which it all connects back, and I'm just like, wow, oh, that was preparation for this, and this was
Yeah.
preparation for that. I remember when I was pregnant, the pastor of the church that we were attending said, okay, you're going to need some money. What do you like to do? And I was like, well, and this is me, because this is the other side of me, is also, I'd be like, well, your office is a mess. I was like, your office is a mess. You got all those cool books in there, but you got it all messed up. Like, I can come in there and I can organize it for you, and I could create a system for, how you could find your books. And, and he was just like, okay, you can do that. I'll pay you to do that. And, that meant that I got to like play in his books, which is like, he had this plethora of books about God, but also books about things that maybe people don't experience as God, but definitely, relate, right? Like
Mm.
nature and,
Yeah. Yeah.
like he was very, very interested in the Holocaust, even though he
Mm.
was like this Black Baptist preacher, right? And so he had a lot of books on that. Um, and he was he was very into like psychology, so he had a lot of books on that. And so, he'd come in the office sometimes and be like, Janine, are you in here working or are you reading?
Mm.
And I was like, I'm doing both. I'm working and reading. I gotta read to know where to put the books.
Yeah.
So these are things that now when I look back, I'm like, oh, we're always being prepared.
That's right.
I think at least that's how my version of it looks. Is that I can see all of the ways that I was being prepared for the next step and prepared for the next step, and even being in Paris, but Philly and Jersey, and then doing the installation at Princeton and doing the installation at Penn, like all of that was preparation for being able to build a bookshop. We did this in 7 days in
Yeah.
Paris. So it was, that was a marathon. That was the stretch. I got stretched to the edge. Absolutely. But the prep work was all of the things that came before.
I love it. I love it.